Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. So glad you came to join us. Okay, this is the conclusion of what I learned with my time that I spent with my family in Alabama, and what I learned about myself and about leadership. And we're going to really unbox this today. So make sure that you stick around. Grab a pen and a paper. You're going to learn some stuff. You definitely want to be a part of this. Stick around. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach. And welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Davis. So glad you've joined us. Make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, and share. All right, let's jump on into this thing. We've been talking about what leaders can learn by being intentional in observing themselves when they're with their family. And I shared with you before that you actually began to become more emotionally mature just by observing the way that you feel and the way that you think when you're with your family. I'm not even talking about changing any of your behaviors. I'm talking about just literally sitting there. And when you have that brother or sister who knows how to push those right buttons, if you observe, how you're internally feeling, how you're externally responding, you'll say, wow. And I'll tell you, you'll start to grow more emotionally mature. And then we talked about a couple of ways that you can do that. So yesterday we talked about identify what causes your emotional reaction when you're with your family. That's right. Identify what causes your emotional reaction when you are with your family. That's very important to sit down and to go through that process. And then we talked about when you do that, begin to set goals for how you emotionally function with your family. So I know that my brother annoys me. My brother upsets me. He's going to say these things. He's going to take pot shots at the fact, that I'm still on unemployment. He's going to make comments about the car. I know that my sister's going to say something about my children, how I'm raising them. Whatever it may be, that's going to get me riled up. But this is how I'm going to act. I'm not going to let that thing get to me. This is how I'm going to act. And so you kind of coach yourself and set up a plan that says, this is how I want to emotionally function. Here's my goal. My goal is not to respond in kind. My goal is to maintain my composure. My goal is just to listen. My goal, and I have several goals, and maybe I'll share them with you another time about how I have decided I want to function in highly anxious relationships. Highly anxious relationships. In other words, relationships that work me up. I have a way that I want to function, and I'll talk about that another time. Today, I want to share with you, as you learn and as you interact with your family and you set those goals, I want you to do something else. I want you to set long-term and short-term goals on how you want to function in all relationships. You see, it starts off with the family. Bam. I figure out how I want to function with my family of origin, because those are the folks that wrote the computer program. I was born, and then I was born into a particular family in a particular city, in a particular race, a particular culture, all of these things. This is what I was born into. And now, all this stuff was pre-programmed onto me. And so the way that I function in relationships was pre-programmed. Now, I need to go back into the factory. I love this analogy. I need to go back into that factory where that program was written and start functioning and operating and being the best me in that environment. And then what I need to do is I need to say, okay, now that I'm getting pretty good. I'm getting pretty sharp. Bam, bam, bam. Getting pretty sharp here. Now what I want to do is I want to transfer that to all other relationships at work, at church, wherever. I want to, as we say here, I want to unbox the power and the potential of all relationships. And so set long-term and short-term. Maybe I should have said the other way. Set short-term and long-term goals about how you want to function in all relationships. And these goals that you are setting are called guiding principles. That's what they call guiding principles. And guiding principles is just one's internal clarity regarding his or her own path forward in response to any given context or situation. This is how I want to act regardless of the context of the situation. When someone is cussing me out, this is how I want to act. When someone is kind to me, this is how I want to act. I don't want to be, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I want to be the same person at all times. So these are the principles that I'm going to operate from. And to help me to get to those principles, I'm going to set goals. So one of the goals that I'm going to set is when someone speaks to me in a hostile tone. Here's a good one. Someone speaks to me in a hostile tone. My goal is to pause for 3 seconds, take a deep breath before I respond. That's my short-term goal. You see, and that right there, and it may not happen. The person may say something sideways to you, and you may end up just snapping right back at them. That happens. What we do is we try, we fail, we try, we fail, we try, and try again. That's the reality. That's what happens. We try, we fail, we try, we fail, we try again. And so, but I know that that's where I want to be at. That is my short-term goal, because my long-term goal is I don't want the way that people talk to me to impact how I feel internally. So I need to make these short steps towards it. And this is what leadership is about. Oftentimes, and I told you this, oftentimes with leadership training and leadership books, it's about how do I manage my team? How do I get them to be more productive? And it's very other focused. How do I get them to do what I want them to stay on task? How do I get them to work together more cohesively? How do I get them, and be honest with you, there's a lot of manipulation that goes on. And what I'm telling you is I believe that great leaders change that paradox. They change they change that whole paradigm. And the way that they change it is they say, rather than me being super focused on how I manage my team, I'm going to be super focused on how I manage myself so that I am a calm, non-anxious presence when I am with my team, so that I am bringing the best in. I want my team to be excellent. Let me focus on developing my excellence and being my best. I want my team to be productive. Let me make sure that I am the most productive. I want a team that's not messy and in everybody else's business. Then let me make sure that I'm not over functioning and doing everyone else's jobs for them. Let me make sure that I am tending to self. There it is. That I am attending to self, that I am making sure that I am showing up as the best me. And that is why I'm going back to my family of origin, so that I can learn how the computer was pre-programmed, so that I can begin to address that pre-programming. I can develop strategies to become better, more productive, more constructive in every single relationship that I am a part of. That's the thing. That's called authentic leadership. As I close, that is authentic leadership. It is when you are the same person in every relationship, whether it's home or work or church or with community organizations or with your next door neighbor or with the person behind you in the grocery store. You're just an authentic person. You are who you are. I've told you before, one of the presidents that I admire the most so far as his character is Jimmy Carter. I believe Jimmy Carter was just a man of character, a man of principle. And you saw that no matter what the situation was, he conducted himself with principles. He conducted himself with dignity at all times. And I believe that great leaders really do this right here. That's what they do. And my experience is that leaders already know how to do the executive functioning stuff. I mean, they know how to do vision casting and strategic planning, and they know how to organize their team and put together the various organizational and flow charts and all that stuff. But what they really need to do, I mean, you got that stuff comes, you can get that stuff at school. But where great leadership is separated from regular leadership is that great leaders manage themselves to be the best that they can be. They unbox the power and the potential of their leadership. They unbox the power and the potential of all relationships. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next time. Take care.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.